Well, it's an honor for me to be here and to be able to talk about not only the beautiful game that I love so much, that's given me so much, and has given me a life that I could barely dream of, but it's been absolutely amazing. And it's great to be here now to talk about not only the beautiful game in my great career, but also an issue that is prevalent in our sport that is not necessarily understood, but is so very important, like Hank was saying. Concussions in our game. It wasn't until recently that I realized that 1 out of every 2 female soccer players will have a concussion. Most of the time, 85% of the time, they end up like Hank was mentioning, you get your bell rung and coach asks you where you are and what day is it, and you take a few days off and you get back in there. But there's that 15% that unfortunately, several of us up here on this panel right now are part of that 15%, where things just don't get better, they get worse. And in my particular case, I had a fantastic career from 1994 all the way up through into 2008 for the national team, and 2010 for my club team, Washington Freedom. And I enjoyed every minute of playing. It was a great honor for me to wear the crest and represent my country, to be able to do and play the sport I loved for a living, and to be so fortunate to be a part of a group of women that were not only passionate, but they were fun, and while we were doing it, incredibly successful as well. Olympic gold medals, World Cup championships, clearly by far the highlight of my career. And during that time, I was very fortunate. I was lucky. Most of the time, I get in a situation in the goal where a sure collision would ensue, and I was able to avoid it. You know, get in there, get the ball, get out, right? As a goalkeeper, and you dive, and don't hit the post with your head, and dive forward, and all these different things that I learned. And I did so incredibly well. I had a couple of concussions, you know, when I played for US Soccer, but most of the time, no big deal. Got my bell rung, Abby fell on my head, which I'm sure you can imagine was a bit of a situation for me and for her. But I recovered just fine until the one hit in a game with the Washington Freedom in 2012, April 2010, excuse me. Memory loss is part of my issue, so you have to give me a pass on that. And on April 25th, 2010, playing for the Washington Freedom in a game against Philadelphia, I was in the game, a low ball was shot from my left coming in, I go out to get it, and I remember that shot from Lori Lindsay, of all people. I'm sure a lot of you know who that is. Routine ball, coming out to get it, low ball, and one of their forwards comes across the right side. I never even saw her. I got my head down in there, she hits me on the side of my head with her knee. Changed my life forever, and ended my soccer career right there. It wasn't exactly the way I wanted to go out. I haven't played since. That was nearly 4 years ago. As wonderful as my career was, and as storied as it was, and as many people that I was so fortunate to inspire through the passion and the way I played my game, my number one goal now that I've retired from the game, is to help people like Hank and this fantastic panel bring more awareness to the seriousness of concussions. And I'm not trying to scare anyone, but I guarantee you, one hit can change your life forever. And it's important that people understand how serious the problem is, but that there is hope. And I've gone through a heck of a time the last several years dealing with this, the emotional part of it, the physical symptoms, memory loss, an inability to remember, to balance myself. And as Hank said, in that 1999 World Cup, that fantastic save I made, sometimes seems like a distant memory. And the only thing that keeps me going sometimes is I know that I'm capable of having that kind of focus and concentration, although now it sometimes seems that that wasn't me. But I know it was me. And so I'm here today, not only to talk about the beautiful game, but to give people hope and light that if you go down and you're not feeling well, and concussion is the problem, but there is a solution, and we all need to pull together to raise the awareness and to find it. And I hope to be someone who, whenever I come out here and speak, at least you learn something and take something away that is meaningful and that can help you and your clubs and to protect the young youth players of today. So, thank you.
Thanks very much. There's no doubt you can see why the women's team was so successful. Such a heartfelt and articulate statement from someone. And Briana, you need to know this, that saved anyone who's an American soccer person. That saved to live in our heart forever. So, you're welcome.